All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast episode number 639, live from E3. Woo! It's your host, GPD, here live from Los Angeles. As always, I'm joined by a man who's finally back at E3, Wombat. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, I forgot my sunglasses. It's really sunny out inside this dark room. Yeah. I'm wearing Ty's E3 hat that I bought him last year for the people at home. Oh, there's no sound again from Wombat. I did it again. God damn it. I got it. No problem. No, I know what the problem is. I don't know how to fix it like by pushing one button. So hold on one second.
We're waiting.
This is the beginning of the show.
Now you're live. Live.
So now there's a reason for everyone who's in the live stream to download the show this week audio-wise so they can hear that first minute and 10 seconds.
Wombat said he had like maybe one of the funniest things I've ever heard, to be honest.
It was so funny, I think Shipwreck peed it a little bit.
Let me check. Yes, I'm a little wet.
See?
He needs a drink to cool down.
Mm-hmm.
His loins are on fire.
Loins. You said loins.
I did say loins. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. It is E3. We would be at E3 normally.
Two of us would be.
Yeah,
Wombat.
You two.
It could have happened for Wombat this year. We could believe.
You know what? If there was a year it was going to happen, it probably would have been this one. But meh.
It's not as fun, like doing the recycling
Thanks.
and stuff. After I watch the Sony press conference, it's much more fun to hang out and go to a restaurant and.
And play the games afterwards too.
Yeah, that's good too.
Like that's a critical part of it as well, is walking out of a press conference and then either going into a basement or into an outdoors festival area.
Outdoor festival area.
Yeah, that's what you like.
I'm a big fan of the outdoor festival area.
Yeah. I was a big fan of walking outside and then walking straight up and playing Spider-Man.
Yes,
That's
with no
what
weight.
I was a fan
With
of.
no weight whatsoever, and then eating hot dogs.
Yes.
I like the food trucks. I remember when they had all those food trucks lined up.
Yes.
And it was all high-end food trucks. That was a good time.
How do you know?
I've been to a Sony event before.
But how do you know those are the high-end food trucks?
For Wombat,
Because I know the
high.
difference between a lobster roll.
There was no.
and
They
a
had
hot
lobster
dog.
rolls there.
Yeah, there was that one year I was there. It was like pork belly banh mi's and all sorts of. That's fancy stuff, as opposed to hot dog
Right.
with no toppings.
They had no. That party that was 2 years ago. That Sony E3
That
party.
was 2 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, they had hot dogs, yes, but they also had. They had everything. I mean, that was just one of many stations, Wombat. Many food stations. So don't worry, they would have had you covered totally.
Because I don't know if you know this about me, but I like food.
Right.
It's a little fun fact trivia for the live show.
Let's also not pretend that you're too good for hot dogs.
I am not too good for hot dogs.
If there was a quality hot dog out there.
I know my hot dogs.
So we got a big show for you today because today was the Sony E3 press conference that we all watched on YouTube or something. I got to say, we're going to talk about that a little later. I don't know about for you guys, but when I was watching it, it was so like heavily, so much compression. It's like hard to see if the graphics are good or not. I couldn't really. I had a difficult time differentiating between that this was a new console. It's just everything looked kind of meh, even though I was watching a 4K stream supposedly.
I didn't. I mean, if you told me, I didn't know it was 4K until you just told me. I watched it on YouTube from the official PlayStation stream on my TV.
Oh,
so
looked okay for you? Maybe I was on the GameStop spot.
GameSpot stop. There was only one game that looked particularly graphically impressive, and again, who knows how final it was. Everything else looked like it could have been on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One X.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was broadcast in 1080p. Was it?
Well, I was watching on the GameSpot channel, and it said 4K on the GameSpot channel. So maybe they were.
I
In
thought it
the,
was everything I saw was 1080p, but I was watching on YouTube as well. Maybe I just didn't adjust.
In the chat, they're saying the 4K trailers were uploaded separately. So maybe
Okay.
you need to like rewatch one or two.
So basically, GameSpot tricked me into watching their stream, I think is what you're telling me.
I'm going to say yes, that they lied to you.
Yes.
They have no more journalistic integrity,
Right.
and they should be shut down.
It was a fake stream.
Yeah, fake stream.
All right. So we're going to talk about that later. I have notes. Look, notes, real notes. And Ty watched with me, so I have his feedback as well. Before we continue with the show, I think we should explain to people who are watching the stream live, first of all, that we're raising money for Color of Change. And we actually raised more money while we were not doing any show, apparently. So we're up to $615 at least on this direct donation thing, but we also got like subscriptions and stuff, which I haven't really tallied that up yet. I'd say we're probably over 1,000 at this point, but we're still looking to raise more money for that. And in addition to that, you might notice this new fancy layout that we have going on Twitch with the pyramid arrangement that was suggested by Shanafan and implemented by Whipsmart Banky. Big shout out to both of those guys for helping with this. And wait, where are the tip jars? Where's my? Oh, there they are. You can see in the bottom right hand corner, they're little glasses, and all this money that you tip will go to Color of Change. But whoever gets the most tips at the end of, I guess, the week will be in the top part of the pyramid, because I couldn't think of a way to who should get up to be in the top part of the pyramid.
It's crucial to be there.
It seems like unfair for like one person to be there every week, so we need to like rotate it. But this seems like more fun, and the actual tip jars, apparently, the money will drop in. Like Shipwreck already got money. I see. I look in your tip jar. I see coins in there.
Woo!
So you didn't even know about that.
I
So
don't- I'm not seeing this stuff while I'm looking.
you have to look at the Twitch stream to see that. But science, technology and science working together to raise money for charity, and I don't know, give us something to do in the form of microtransactions.
You know.
You can give like $1 and it'll animate the little tip jar. It seemed fun. I see all these cool toys that Streamlabs OBS has, and I get excited. And I want to play with them. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You do. I had a question from at Photo Turtle. He wrote in. He wanted to know if I'm going back to Orange Theory, because his has been open for the past 3 weeks. I didn't see that part. Where does this guy live? That's 3 weeks.
In Texas, right?
Does he live in Alaska or something?
Probably
lives in
Texas or Florida.
Texas.
That's right he lives in Texas.
Yeah, you know where the cases are going up.
I really didn't see that. 3 weeks. Okay. He said it's great. Only 12 people per class for the time being.
And only 6 of them have COVID-19.
Next week it'll only be 10 people.
Exactly.
Plenty of room available at that Orange Theory. Well, I am wearing my Orange Theory Hell Week shirt, but I was thinking about that because I'm doing this rowing class. I think I told you last week. It's every day. It's a 20-minute rowing class to learn how to row properly from a real like rowing instructor, and it's really great. And I'm excited to go back to Orange Theory and practice what I've learned, but it does not seem safe. Like, because 20 minutes just for me, I'm sweating all over the place. And today I like snotted while I was doing it, and it went all over like the side of my face. And I feel like if somebody saw that at Orange Theory now, they would call the police or something. So I don't think I would feel comfortable. I think it's going to be a while before I go back to Orange Theory, right, Ship? I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand the setup of Orange Theory. It might be okay. How close to other people are?
Well, if he says there's only 12 people, that means the class isn't even it's below half capacity. So that means there's nobody on either side of you. So it's probably going to be okay.
You'd have to wear a mask the whole time though if you're indoors.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I could barely handle that.
I was going to say it would
target.
probably be
Mask
hard
on.
to breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my daughter's tennis lessons start up on Tuesday again. She hasn't had those since January, I think. And they moved that from an indoor facility to outdoor. And her class is two kids, one instructor.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So-
There's a lot of sweat involved at Orange Theory. Like I'm soaked through.
And we still may make her wear a mask.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Somebody wrote in the chat. The GFB wrote his gym never closed in North Carolina, even though they were ordered to. Yikes.
Scary times.
Right.
Gotta love it.
Did we talk about? I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but I tell you, there's 3 Black Lives Matters protests in our town.
Okay.
And I think maybe I don't even
You
remember.
were going to go to one.
Okay, yeah,
after
right.
The last show.
Well, now there's been 3 at least. And we went to one and it was great, like very peaceful, no problem, like well organized. It was, it was great. But people have been putting up Black Lives Matter signs in the town, like on telephone poles. And some people in the town have been ripping the signs down and just not even throwing them in the garbage, just ripping them down and then just leaving them on the ground, which is like, Long Island, for people who don't know, maybe we talked about some of this last week, but Long Island is really racially segregated. Like it's a whole real estate.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Just Google Newsday.
No, there was a big article about it in Newsday.
Newsday, right.
That won the Peabody last week.
It's really great. But it's basically, It says that they did this whole undercover investigation over 3 years, and real estate agents discriminated against African Americans 49% of the time by like putting them into doing these illegal practices. Anyway, so Long Island is very racially segregated. You'll have one town that's 80% white right next to a town that's 80% African American. It makes no sense. Anyway, so people are tearing the signs down in the town, and other people see them do it, and then they take pictures of them, and now they put up posters of the people ripping down the signs, the pictures of that, and now those are up on the telephone poles. It's like it's getting very weird, and now there's like underground Facebook accounts. I got to get off Facebook, I think.
Yeah, get off of there.
I have to be on it for this rowing class for at least another 9 more days or 8 more days.
But you don't have to hang out on there.
I know, but
to where you need to go.
It's designed to be addictive, so they got me. But now I secretly hope when I walk down the street that I see somebody pulling down a Black Lives Matter sign so I could take a picture of them. You know what I'm saying? No, Shipwreck hasn't left the house in 3 months. He doesn't know what I'm saying. I crave human contact. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. I've been out a few times now. But
To Target?
no, I have not been to Target since this thing started.
That's going to be emotional. That return to Target, that first
You know,
time.
Cheapy, I'm looking in the chat,
Yes.
and I think you may have the glasses backwards for me and Chip.
I do. I definitely do.
Because
That's
mine
right.
is the
No, I do,
brandy,
because you have the martini glass. Look, no problem. Look
the
at this.
brandy Sifner, and
I fixed it in real time. Look. Boom. Fixed. Already fixed.
I just wanted to make sure because people were complaining.
No, you're right. You're totally right. Ship has the beer mug. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I know.
I dropped the ball again.
Oh well.
At least you can hear. At least we can hear you.
Hey, I just want to make sure that people were complaining, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have the beer stein.
Let me move all the cups into my square. That's probably what we need to be doing. No. All right, let's do
You
some
could
show
do that
feedback because
if
we have
that
so
makes
much
you feel
Sony
better.
stuff to talk about. We really need to.
Yeah, we need to
Move.
keep the show moving for reasons. Chich 2300 had to say, for Ship, with your love of Rhine Gas Truth, I recommend heading 45 minutes north to Yellow Springs Brewery. Have you been there? Before I go any further.
Yes, I've been there, and I've had both of these beers that Chinch 2300 is recommending, the boat show and the wobbly wheel.
I
Yeah.
figured as much. I
They are
figured
good.
that's why I'd bring it up. So you
Yep.
could say, but I've had them, because if there's beer that's weird within 300 miles of my house, I've had it.
It's tough to do around here, though. I don't think you understand how many microbreweries there are in the Cincinnati area.
I'm sure there's enough.
There's
Too many.
5 within like 10 minutes of my house.
Right. Meanwhile, my town opened up a store that sells microbrewery beer, and I don't even think it lasted a year.
And tonight I'm drinking Rheingeist Cheetah, which is a lager by Rheingeist.
I would like that better. I'm not a big IPA person personally.
I'm drinking
Each
water.
their own. How
I'm
dare
drinking
I?
Long Island's famous water.
Mhm.
I also have Target water.
Ooh, fancy! Wow.
I know.
Only bottled water for Wombat at home.
That's right. I only drink water out of bottles. You know.
All right, should we do some watch this, bitches?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic then.
Sure.
Mrs. Cheapy and I started watching a new series because it's got a Japanese connection, and so we thought it looked interesting. It's called Duty Shame or Giri Haji, and it's pretty good. It's not fantastic. It's a little off, but it's about a Japanese cop who has to go to London to investigate, basically to find his brother who's committed a crime and bring him back to Tokyo. And it's, it looks like it's the woman from Boardwalk Empire, Nucky's girlfriend, I guess. Did you watch Boardwalk Empire?
No.
What?
No, me
No.
neither.
Oh my God.
It sounds
Anyway,
right, though.
it's pretty good. It's just some things are a little off, but
Like what? The way you said duty?
no.
It's duty shame, not duty shame.
Duty shame.
Duty.
Duty shame sounds like a better show.
Right.
Like a reality show where someone goes to the bathroom and then like
It's my
judges
life.
walk in and they're like, "How dare you? This is pitiful. What have you been eating?"
I listened to that clip today where I had to cut up the duty with a hanger
Uh-huh.
because Ronnie the
To hold
limo
up?
driver had a similar experience on Howard Stern. He actually couldn't even get the duty out of his butt, and he reached in there and pulled out his duty. That's pretty disgusting. So I felt a lot better about myself.
I know. That's why I keep a spoon in the bathroom.
So anyway, we've only watched like 2 episodes of that Giri Haji or whatever. I don't know what the actual name is. If it's Giri Haji Duty Shame or whatever. It's decent. You can check it out. Maybe it gets.
You sold me on it.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. I'm not going to tell people that I'm in love with it if I'm not in love with it. I'm skeptical, but so far it's pretty decent. What else we got here? And watch this, bitches.
I watched the Ultimate Wombat documentary over the weekend. It's approximately 4 hours long. It's broken up into 2 episodes. It's called Laurel Canyon. It's on Epix, and it is all about the music scene in Laurel Canyon, California, from 1965 to they stretch it out to like 1978, which is actually pretty far. I thought it was very interesting. My wife gave up after about an hour and 20 minutes of the 4-hour documentary, but
4 hours.
I stuck with it.
That's pretty good. I
Yeah.
don't know that I would have stuck with it for that long either.
You would like Echoes in the Canyon better. That's the Netflix documentary that's more similar. That's the one that has the Wallflower, Jacob Dylan on it.
Yeah,
And
I know of that one.
Yeah, that one's fluffier. This one's a little more like, and here's what happened. And here's what happened. It's a little more matter of fact. It goes deeper into history of things, and they take their time. It's 4 hours long. They take their time with things. I was totally into it. Like I said, it's like everything I want in this kind of documentary about that sound. It's very interesting because it was all during, they were riots. They were protesting the police in 1968, 69. In California, and the music that came out from those police riots, it was very topical for today, and they didn't plan that, so it was kind of it was interesting in that sense. That and this one touches on the Charles Manson
good. I could watch
stuff.
more riots, you're saying?
Yeah, this one also
Looking
touches
to-
on the Charles Manson stuff and Altamont and all that kind of. If you're into the history more than just the music. So
Right.
I recommend it.
Fantastic. Then that's
Mhm.
Laurel Canyon, also
Laurel
known
Canyon.
as I answer people in the chat when Wombat talks about it.
Wow. I also watched City Slickers over the weekend with
Oh,
my
how's
son.
City Slickers?
We were talking about it in the car, my wife and I, and Elliot says, this movie sounds interesting. Am I allowed to see it? That's how he asks about movies. He goes, am I allowed to see that? And I'm like, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be. And yeah, he loved it. He thoroughly loved that movie. He was screaming towards the end, when they get the cows across the river. And yeah, he loved it. So I was going to say, I recommend, if a movie you're looking to watch, like a family movie
Right.
that maybe you haven't seen in like 25 years or more, like me, City Slicker surprisingly holds up well.
I want to watch Glory with Ty. He's learning about the Civil War.
Oh, I was going to say, that's a bit of a left turn from City Slickers.
Yeah.
I
Just a
often
movie
think
want.
about City Slickers and Glory.
It's
in
an
the
older
same-
movie that I want to watch with my son.
Yeah, but no one takes a cannonball to the face. And,
Right.
I remember we had to get
In
permission
Glory.
slip signed. We watched that. We went to the theater when I was in school. They
Yeah.
took us to the theater to see Glory, and we had to get special permission slip signed because it was rated R.
Wow.
And
yeah.
And we saw it, and I remember the guy getting hit in the face with a cannonball on the big screen.
Sure.
That scene where they charge the fort at the end is like the best scene ever.
I don't know about best scene ever. I mean, there's a scene in City Slickers where Billy Crystal gives birth to a calf, and
I don't know.
and he goes,
I don't know
"This
that he
was
gave
not in the
birth to it, did he?
brochure," and there's goop all over his hands.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing visual stuff because it's a video podcast.
Sure. Well, I watch kids movies as usual, family movies.
Go on.
So I think at least you, Cheapy, have seen The Kid Who Would Be King.
I saw that.
You saw that. Okay.
We all saw it.
We all saw
I
it.
saw it in the theater.
My kids did not see all of it. This is the first one.
It's scary.
This movie's rated PG.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's a little
intense.
scary at times.
What are they thinking with this movie being PG? Like
Yeah.
the villain in this movie is scarier than like the villains in like it's the same type of villain I would say like it is in Suicide Squad or that Mummy movie with Tom Cruise.
Okay.
It's that same type of villain where it's like they talk kind of weird and they look kind of like the girl from The Ring or whatever. So that's spooky to begin with, but the kids don't pick up on that quite as much as the adults because they don't quite understand that's scary. What kids do find scary, though, I find, is when a flaming skeleton rises from the ground.
Yes, I remember that scene. In the schoolyard, right, or something?
No, it's outside of his bedroom window, of this kid's bedroom window. The skeleton rises from the ground. Then the boy like gets up and looks out the window, and then it's gone, and he's like, oh, maybe I'm dreaming or whatever. And then on the door, you hear the door getting knocked downstairs. And then they show this thing coming through the door and starting to come up these stairs to his bedroom.
Right.
And he runs to find his mom. His mom is nowhere to be found. And then that is where my kids were like, nope, we are bawling. We are out. Like who, like, and there's like decapitation in this movie and everything too. Like,
it's like a British PG, I feel.
Right. How did this get PG? We like Gretchen and I watched the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it is a pretty
It's just
good
not
movie.
for kids.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, it's not for little kids.
Even
It's
for
not for
Ty, I
PG.
remember it was.
Yeah.
I remember thinking.
Yeah, no,
like,
Sabrina
uh-oh.
left. Sabrina didn't make it through. Elliot loved it, but he's weird that way. He's a monster kid, so that's different.
Yeah. So we stopped that and watched Spies in Disguise instead. That was much more our speed.
How is that? Now, does Will Smith turn into a pigeon?
He does in this movie, and he does some fine Will Smithing throughout.
Now, does he poop on anyone during this movie?
No, I don't think that occurs.
Then I will never see it.
I don't think that occurs.
How did they drop the ball on that?
I think there's some poop jokes, I believe.
Now, did you pick up on the title being a pun?
No. What is this pun of?
Okay, it's spies in disguise, and they're
Oh.
also spies in the skies. That's the
Yes.
pun.
That's you nailed it there. I'm sure
I-
that's what they were going for.
it is what they were going for. I didn't make
It's really
this up.
bad if that's what they were going for.
That
because
is
I don't
really what they were going for.
I don't think
It's
many people
called
are going to get to
spies
that
in
point.
disguise because they're also pigeons that are in the sky.
Yeah, it's a well done movie. Both my kids loved it.
Excellent.
It's prime Will Smith. Like, he's charming.
I saw it on the Plex, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention that it was there, because if I did, then I'd have to watch it, and I'm not sure if I want to.
It's animated, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He's not a real pigeon.
I'm out.
exactly.
All right. That's it for Watch This, bitches. It looks
All
like.
right.
Fantastic, then. I don't know if that we mentioned this last week, but for some shopping news, we could mention the 700 plus game bundle on itch, which is raising money for racial justice, and it's raised over $5 million so far. That's great. That's a lot of dollars.
What are we at in our Twitch stream right now?
Well, Wombat's got I see a lot of dollars in Wombat's.
Are we at 5 million yet?
I don't know how to check my thing, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I'm just looking at it.
I don't even have access to the account that's tied to, so I'd have to ask a third party. So
you can just look at your Streamlabs account. It'll tell you.
Well, I'd
but
have
don't
to
look
log
now.
into that.
You're gonna be
I'd
distracted.
have to log into that too.
This was not meant. That was meant to be an off the cuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, even I bought that itch bundle. I don't even have a PC to play any of these games on.
Right.
I'm
But
sure you
now
can play
if-
some of these games. On
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh.
say, but now if I ever get one, I'm gonna have 1,000 games instantly. But I figured it was a good cause, and why not?
Right. It's actually over
never know.
1,400 games, according to CLC Wolf.
Now I have 1,400 games
and
So-
nothing to play it on.
with nothing to play it on.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I picked it up as well, but I have not downloaded it yet because they're not Steam games. They're on the itch.io website, right?
Yes.
You gotta download them individually, I think.
I think you can You have to download them individually, or can you download them all
That's
at
what
once?
PolyObject27 says in the chat, and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, you probably don't need to download them all. Probably just download the ones that are interesting to you.
Right.
That is not
Yes.
how I'm going to do it, but I will eventually get around to downloading them all, I'm sure.
I think it's
Eventually.
time for new releases.
Yeah.
Mm.
You and I have been playing one of them. Do we want to talk about that one first?
Sure.
Are you okay?
You go
sound like
first,
you're about to pass
because I have to
out.
write something down before I forget.
Okay, we could talk about Disintegration,
Mm-hmm.
which is a new game. Who made it? Why am I blanking on who? The Private Division. From one of the co-creators of Halo.
Mm-hmm.
It is a first-person shooter with some real-time strategy elements to it. You are the pilot of this rocket sled thing. That's how I would describe it. It's a rocket sled thing. You drive it with a first-person perspective. You can go up and down, which is sort of interesting, and the movement's takes a little getting used to, because everyone else in your squad is running, and you're supposed to be on this rocket sled. So it's a little bit of an adjustment because you're the only person that's essentially flying and no one else is. And it's okay. I really wanted to like it. I saw the trailer for it and it looked really cool. I even said something on Twitter and they were excited that I was excited for their game. And they provided a code not just to me, but also one that I was able to give to Cheapy. And I wanted to like it a lot more, but there's just a couple of little things about it. It's visually, it's not incredible. It's fine. It looks good. It's just, you can't choose. Your squad mates change each level, but you can't pick your squad mates each level. It's all preset. And the weapons on your rocket sled are also preset between each level. So you get to use a variety of weapons, but you can't choose to go in with in this round, I want to go in with my sniper rifle and my healing ray. It's like, nope, this round you're using your 9mm and your whatever and your grenades, and that's what you get, and that's it.
Because it's almost set up. I mean, I played very little, so I probably shouldn't say anything. But it seems like it's set up like you're solving instead of just shooting things. Like it's like a puzzle you're solving. You need to use this vehicle and these troops to get.
But it's
past
almost
this.
it's for me. It's a little too rigid. I think that way.
I hear
Like
ya.
maybe if it was a little more open, it might be a little bit better. And it's not that it's bad. I'm not like it's not a broken game. It's not that it's no fun. I've played a good amount. I would say I'm more than halfway through, probably very close to the end. I don't know. I just kind of wish it was a little bit more variety, a little bit more choice, a little better leveling up options. Because I think they did a really good job with, the character designs are really cool. Everyone is a robot whose thoughts and emotions were implanted in them from humans, but the robots all look really cool. So that, there's some really interesting things going on. I wish there was a way to see a third person view of you in the scooter. Like if you could switch from first person to third person, because you kind of lose the sense that you're driving a flying motorcycle when you've never get to see the flying motorcycle.
Yep. Could be anything.
Yeah, exactly. You could be anything that's just kind of like floating there. And I get why they did it that way. They want you to be able to see that sort of wide view of the map because it has those strategy elements where you're directing your troops where to go. So in that sense, it makes a lot of sense. But when you're not doing that, it would be nice to be able to zoom yourself out to kind of get the feel that I'm on this cool motorbike and that kind of a thing.
Word. Wombat, you have so many tips, and we don't have Ship and I have 0 tips.
Well,
that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm. I was about to make a Moyle joke, but I don't know who would get it.
I'm guessing that's either how it goes or Cheapy has screwed something up.
No. I screwed up with one thing and I fixed it. It's perfectly functioning.
Yeah.
System here.
Wombat's the man of the people.
Yes.
That's me playing Disintegration.
Yeah, that's what all the people are playing.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here in new releases?
Let's see. Mortal Kombat Aftermath is under new releases. Has that been out for a while now?
This is Aftermath Collection. It's a physical release, I believe.
Release of it all. Got it. Because we finally now we all have that. I know Cheapy's had it for a while, but I got to play some RoboCop, and that was kind of cool. And I played the other guy with the white hair who does wind stuff. I don't know his name. He does some cool stuff. I like him too.
Gassy
man. So, yeah, that's cool. I need to play that story, but I have so much going on. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
We should just battle each other online. I'll take
would be happy to.
RoboCop, and you can take whoever you want.
Yeah. Yep.
What else?
What else?
Desperados 3 came out. I know we saw that at E3 last year, Cheapy.
Oh yeah.
That's that. It's a strategy game where you're in the Old West.
And you play as the Eagles?
No.
No, you don't.
Is it about coming to your senses?
No.
Do you ride fences?
No. Shouldn't you be boycotting them or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like you probably have reasons to boycott them.
The Eagles?
Yes, I'm sure there's a reason out
Glenn
there.
Fry's dead, so I can't boycott a dead man.
That seems like the easiest boycott possible. I thought that looked cool at E3 last year.
Yeah,
it seemed pretty far along, so it's the one where you would like throw your coin to distract people and then go and shoot them with your you go shoot them. So I mean, it's right at E3 week. You can also, speaking of Old West games, you can play Sunset Riders on Arcade Archives.
Fantastic then.
Yep, that was a good game. You can play some Sunset Riders.
Anything else?
Not really.
Right. I got a code for a game. Actually, I think it came out. When did it come out? May 27th. What date is it now?
It is June 11th.
June
Right.
11th. So it came out a couple of weeks ago. But I got a code for Missile Command Recharged, and I know that we're all old, so and we know what Missile Command is.
I played this game as well. So.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I played it on iPhone. It came out first on iPhone.
It seems like it's an iPhone. I mean, it's cool for what it is, which is just like a minimalist version of Missile Command. But I mean, Missile Command's pretty minimalist already, but updated. I guess like it reminds me of what's like those music puzzle games, that type of visual. But it's a very simple game. Like it's like a $3 game.
It's Missile Command.
Yeah, and it's $3. So I wanted more. Like I wanted the Pong Quest. I wanted to be at least as much stuff.
This is very much hey, we made Missile Command, but we made it like Geometry Wars.
Geometry Wars.
graphics.
Thank you. That's
it's good. I think it was free on iPhone, I believe, or maybe it was part of Apple Arcade. I don't remember. I don't remember paying for this game on iPhone, and I remembered enjoying it enough and going, "Yep, that was Missile Command."
I wanted there to be like a $15 version of that,
Sure.
where there's more, maybe some like cool songs and stuff.
Missile Command. There's not a whole lot to. I don't know if you know this.
I do. I'm
There's
aware.
not a whole lot to Missile Command.
Especially once you take away the trackball.
Well, I mean, I grew up primarily playing the Atari 2600 version.
Oh, so you haven't experienced your hand getting stuck underneath the trackball when you do this?
No, it's more of a just hoping the Atari 2600 controller gets you in the right vicinity.
I liked it on the 2600.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It freaked me out. I think I've told this story before, but we're 600 something episodes in here. Anytime that you died in the Atari 2600 version of Missile Command, the entire screen just started like flashing on and off, and it made this big like booming sound.
Like
and
a Japanese cartoon in the 90s.
Yeah, every time that happened, I ran out of the room. That I did not want to see that.
Wow.
That like upset me when that happened.
Right. It was a nuclear holocaust.
Right. Also, I was upset because I just lost a Missile Command.
Right.
It was the kid who would be king of its time.
It was. I don't know how Missile Command got away
Those
with that
graphics,
PG rating.
man. That's why. So real. Yeah, it just made me want more Missile Command. I feel like they should get the Res guys to make, Res made Tetris. They made the Tetris Effect. They should make Missile Command something with dance
To
music.
be fair, this is one of the best things Atari's done in a while. Like they're on a little bit of a streak here with Missile Command Recharged and Pong Quest.
Right. Don't worry, the hotels are coming.
Maybe they're gonna be great if they're based upon these.
Right.
I'm wearing an Atari t-shirt. It's got to count for something.
It doesn't.
Oh.
Let's move on. I think we're ready to move on
We're-
to news, multi-platforming, and Wombat's Rainbow Sexy Talk.
Yeah.
There was some Rainbow news you told me about earlier.
Oh yeah, it's a free to play weekend for Rainbow Six on the Xbox One. I think you need to download it, Mr. Cheapy, and we should stream it on Twitch
Okay.
because I think it'll break all of your all your Twitch records.
They're not that impressive.
That's why now's the time.
Right. All right. It could happen.
I know.
It could potentially happen.
It's potential. Fine. Whatever.
Right.
I got a new game this week though that I actually, went to a store and bought.
What does that mean? Sort of.
Well, Darksider Genesis was the deal of the day.
Pretty much unwent to a store to get this game.
Yeah, I unwent to a store. I had to go to the park in front of the store,
Okay.
call the store from my cell phone,
Oh, you really did.
and a man in a mask walked out and handed me my game.
Your
Gotcha.
video game.
Yes,
You went to
yes,
Best
it's
Buy?
called curbside pickup. No, it was at the GameStop.
Here is your $15 clearance game, sir.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Here
thank
is
you
your-
for coming out.
Thank you for picking up this $15 copy of Darksiders Genesis.
Wow, we found GameStop's customer.
I know, I'm the guy.
It was him.
You know what? For $15, I was in. You know what? Darksiders Genesis is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a good. I think the shipwrecks would probably enjoy it. Good couch co-op.
Oh.
It seemed when we played this at E3 last year, it seemed kind of bland.
I don't. You know what? It's not as bland. It has
Okay,
more.
I mean, it's been a year or whatever, so
It has more platforming than I thought. It's a little less Diablo and a little more Lego game. Where there's a little bit more platforming, there's a little bit more of the you can't do this right now, you haven't unlocked that skill, please come back later. And collecting a lot of, coins to buy, power-ups.
How much lore would Mrs. Shipwreck need to know about the Darksiders universe? to be able to enjoy
Absolutely
this?
none.
Perfect, because that's how much she knows about the Darksiders universe.
Absolutely zero. All you need to know is that you're one guy, and she would be your brother, and you would
That's
have
weird.
to go kill the devil. And that's it.
There's no female characters?
No, there's only two characters. It's War, who's been in one of the past games. I want to say Darksiders 1? Yeah. 1, because
Sounds
2 is
right.
death.
I've
Yeah.
heard it's really hard to animate female characters.
And
So
Darksiders 3 has the female one. And Strife, who is the new character for the game. And he uses guns, and War uses a big sword.
Okay.
that's enough
When you
lore.
play alone, you can switch between the two characters on the fly.
I think that's how this game's usually played.
But if you
probably.
play co-op, then those two characters are on the screen at the same time all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll give it a go. I think there not being a female character is going to be a harder sell.
Yeah, I could see that, but I like I said, I think you guys might enjoy it.
Sure.
Yeah, you're always looking for something to play together,
Mhm.
and this game is something you can play together, and it it kind of scratches that collectathon itch that I know you get.
I didn't even know that it had collectibles.
Oh yeah,
in that
you got to
game.
collect all the boatman coins.
You got to do that.
You got it. There's 15
Ship loves
boatman
boats
coins.
and collecting things.
Right. They might as well just call them shipwreck coins.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get all the shipwreck coins, or I don't know what happens if you don't. I don't know.
Is
The
there like a
world of-
checklist that I can?
Oh yeah.
check
No,
off?
no. When you go to the map screen, it actually shows you the checklist, and it tells you how many of each thing there are. Like, oh, there's 15 boatman coins, 3 super chests, 1 little chest, 5 big chests.
See, why don't they put
6 of
this stuff
these-
on the box art?
I don't know.
I feel like if they just said that up front, that a lot more people would be interested with the check.
Wombat
Probably.
Baby Muffin Time in the chat said that it's Joe Maderiera's art design, and it's on point.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know who that guy is? He said I would hope Wombat would know Joe Mad, being a comic fan.
I don't.
You
off
don't
the
know
top of-
him?
I don't know him. Sorry.
Holy shit! Take those tips
But-
back.
I know.
Quick,
the
everybody
art
tip
style is-
Shipwreck.
The art style is pretty good in this game, and you do fight like flaming werewolf monsters. I mean, that's it's kind of fun.
Right.
I recommend it, especially for $15.
All right.
I feel like now that you've bought it, though, we can firmly expect.
Oh yeah,
it
no,
to
it'll
be
be
Game
free.
Pass or PlayStation Plus or something.
Mhm. Yeah, that's how it works. Whenever I buy something.
Well, Wombat's going to educate himself on Joe Mad before the next show. If he wants to get those sweet tips, anyway. All right, let's. We finished Streets of Rage 4 finally.
Nice.
Cool.
It was. It's really good. It was very hard.
How many quarters did it cost?
No quarters, but it was a lot of
You
failure.
gave no quarter?
It was a lot of failing going on though on the last level. It was pretty difficult, but we did it. So I highly recommend that game. I'm going to play more because I want to unlock. There's so many characters to unlock, and we really haven't unlocked any.
I didn't even know you could unlock characters in it.
There's so many. Basically all the characters from the old Streets of Rage games.
Is Spider-Man in it?
No, was he in
No.
a Streets of Rage game?
Oh, it could have been.
I think you're thinking of Shinobi.
I was gonna say I was just about to say he was in a Shinobi game.
Right. All right. What else we got here,
You unlock
Wombat?
Shinobi?
Can you? Yeah. Is
No,
Shinobi
I
in
don't
the
think
game?
Shinobi's in it.
What about the?
Was that
the
his
blonde-
name? Was that guy's name? Or Shinobi? Is that his?
Yeah, it's Joe Shinobi.
What is this about? You got something about Bobby Kotick.
Yeah,
It's always
apparently
nice
the
when we hear his name.
apparently the shareholders at Activision Blizzard think he gets paid too much. Apparently, he's made $20 million a year for the last 4 years. And they think
He's received nearly $100 million in combined stock options and equity since 2016. It's consistently larger than total pay of CEO peers at similar companies. Well, I'm an Activision stockholder, and I agree. He does get paid too much.
yeah. And apparently there were massive layoffs last year, and
I remember that.
And the shareholders want to know, why are we letting go of so many people and you're getting paid so much?
Right. I'm pretty sure that he's a great CEO, but he's not the reason why the company is doing great.
He's almost been the CEO for 30 years also, which is kind of crazy.
Right.
So.
I mean, he makes good business decisions. The salary thing is out of whack.
Right. That's
if he said he made $2 million, I'd be like, that's a really nice salary for being the CEO, I guess. But yeah, $100 million.
too much.
Too much.
Did you read about this next item here? This is Shipwreck's probably favorite story. Did you see this? This executive at Riot.
Why is this my favorite story?
Because you don't like these controversial stories.
Oh, okay, go for it.
This Ron Johnson, the global head of consumer products at Riot Games, is sharing like racist posts on Facebook, on public Facebook. And so, of course, people find out about it, and they're outraged, and now he's probably going to lose his job because of it. How do they not know? I know the answer.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They think they're not that they're right, but they're like righteous.
Righteous.
They have to not only right, but they have to show everybody that they're right, and it's their duty. And if somehow duty.
And this is after all the issues that Riot had not
of course,
that long ago.
right. I mean, you just live through that. And you just see it everywhere, all around you. You see it happening, but people still ripping down the flyers on the street and getting photographs taken of them.
And then they lose their jobs and they become even worse.
Well, it's people are weird. All right,
So
we
my
got to
advice is don't be a racist.
Don't be a racist. We
Don't
got to
be a
move on
racist.
and talk about Sony because today was the big Sony conference.
Yep. So when you get yours, are you gonna put yours in your house, Avengers Tower style, or Tony Stark's house style?
Who could put this thing vertically? I mean, you'd have to have no entertainment system whatsoever. You just
I have vaulted ceilings.
right, but you have to just put it on the floor. Like you can't just put it inside something. You want to talk about how it looks first before we get into all the games?
Let's tackle the looks of it because that's the most inconsequential part
Sure.
of this.
It doesn't matter at all.
Because it doesn't matter at all. That's
Not
the,
even
that's
a
the
little
most
bit?
frustrating thing about this. Is
know.
somebody, like a whole team of people, spent a crap ton of time
Right.
crafting this design.
Each
and
curve.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like they're going to sell just as many of these if it was just a rectangle.
Yes.
It looks like a skyscraper from a Rock movie.
Yeah,
Like I fully expect the Rock to be climbing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people are going to like the aesthetic, sure, but it's so specific of an aesthetic, and it just doesn't fit well with everything else.
Anything else, you mean?
Right. It's which is a choice on their part as well.
Except, like Wombat said, it would look great in Avengers Tower or Tony Stark's house. It would look perfect. You wouldn't even. It's just like it was built-in, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't like that it's white. And
Yeah,
black.
the two-tone.
It
Like
looks-
I know when the controller came out, a lot of people didn't like the two-tone on the controller either. That
Right.
should have given us foresight that this was going to happen.
But like you
They're
say,
going to come
Ship,
out with a bunch of different versions of this.
yeah, it doesn't really matter what it looks like, and I don't really.
No,
care.
it
There'll
doesn't.
be
It's
also. I'm
just-
sure they're gonna have the third-party stickers to put over the white portion to make it look, camouflage.
I want to see
or-
the third-party just rectangular box that sits over the whole thing. You just put it right down over top of it.
right on top. Nice.
Yeah, or you just slide it in sideways. and you're
Remember
good
when
to
the
go.
Xbox 360 had the faceplates?
Sure,
The
that-
interchangeable faceplates?
That was a fun idea. It was a dumb idea, but it was
Right.
a fun idea. You get them as pre-order bonuses. I
Yep.
got one. I got a Viva Pinata one around here, and
I had a whole bunch. I had like a
Sure.
weird orange one.
I had the Gears of War like limited edition one that I got at some event, and it was worth like a couple $100. And instead of selling it, I just held on to it, and then I wind up just throwing it out. Probably, I don't even know. Maybe I gave. I don't even know. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
like-
the fuck knows what happened to it?
well, you started like after like you got one, and you were like, okay, I'll put this Viva Pinata one on there. That's fun. I don't know what to do with this one I just took off of it. Like,
Right.
what do I do with this?
I need a holder.
But then once you started like accumulating these things, like I probably had 5 or 6 ish, maybe more at some point. And like sometimes like games would send me like you'd get like multiple ones of the same game for whatever reason. It's like I can't do anything with these.
Well,
Right.
it's a good thing they stopped doing that
Yeah,
12
that's-
years ago.
Exactly. Now we have this.
Yep.
I'm gonna lay it on the side. I think if it fits, it looks pretty tall. Like if I look at this,
it looks
thing,
like it might be pretty big.
So Polyobject in the chat wrote, "If Ship doesn't want to collect them, you know it's worthless."
it is. Like if you look at this thing, it's about
It's
somewhere
about
between
3 controllers high.
it's about 13 or 14 inches tall or wide, depending on how you're going to put it, which is pretty big. And then you have to have the stand on it because it sits on the side with the disk drive. If you buy the disk drive version, there's the diskless version as well, the all digital version.
It's very
Um,
strange. I can't believe I'm shocked there are 2 SKUs. I guess I shouldn't be. I don't know.
No, I'm not shocked because that seems to think that they think they're a little bit high on the one with the drive.
Oh, but how much savings could there be on the driveless one?
$50 probably.
I think it'll be in that range. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
It's going to be the difference between $4.99 and $5.49.
could be.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, and Xbox is coming in with supposedly 2 SKUs as well, right?
But then again, the disk drive pays for itself when you buy 3 $15 games on disc. That'll never get that cheap digitally.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to this version. I just wish they would have put a disc slot on the other side of it so this thing was symmetric. Just-
2
Just 2 disc drives, yes.
dual disc drives.
Yeah,
Because why the fuck not?
Right, it's a game changer. Just
Right. Why? Yeah,
Yeah.
you have 2 games you like to play. Don't have to get up. Just
don't have to get up.
keep them right in there.
Makes sense to me. They used to have it
I'm not against that idea now that you say it.
right. Just throw me another disc drive on that side. I'll
Like
be
a,
good
like
with it.
an old school disc changer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pioneer. Remember those Pioneer disc
Mhm.
changers?
I had the Iowa one
Yeah,
that was 100 disc changer.
I remember that one.
That one was awesome, except that it always got jammed up, and then
Yeah.
I had to take 100 discs out of it.
Was it a big carousel?
No, it was like
it
it was like a magazine.
This was a vertical tower.
Tower.
Oh.
Tower.
It was a
okay.
it was a vertical tower, and you in the disc drive it was a tray drive, and you just stuck CD after CD in it until it had a little elevator.
Oh,
and then stuck them
boy.
in there. But then when something got jammed up, you had to take the entire thing apart and take all your CDs out.
Nice.
It was fantastic though. I loved that thing. They
Um,
should have done that here. Give me 100 discs that I can stick in this thing.
Totally.
I remember I had the 5 disc carousel, and I would put 5 discs in, and you would set it to random, and it would play one song, and then it go to play the next song because you had it set to random, like an idiot, like you thought that was something special.
Imagine doing that but with 100 CDs.
No.
So yeah, it doesn't matter what this thing looks like. That's the frustrating part about it is you're gonna sell just as many of these things no matter
Right.
what it looks like.
At Burgundy Masks, Musk wrote in and says, "Do you think they redesigned the PS5 after seeing what the new Xbox was going to look like? It seems like somebody high up wanted to make sure the PS5 looked even more ridiculous." He's saying, "Do you think they had some design? And they
No,
saw
I
the
think
Xbox
they
look
had
like
the
a
design.
Yeah.
No, they were doing their thing, and it is what it is.
All right. Should we talk about the games? Because that's.
Yes, let's
you
talk
mean the
let's
thing
talk
that
about the
actually
good
would
stuff.
make that matters?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at my tip jar. I see a couple of coins in the tip jar. Ship too. Ship's got a few.
Hey,
Good.
Wombat's got many more.
I feel like Wombat's just tipping us.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
The only thing I'm tipping is cows.
All right. So first up, they showed Spider-Man.
Yes, Miles Morales.
Yes.
This feels like it's similar.
Push.
Oh,
Okay.
don't push
We're
that.
back. We're back.
We're
No
back.
problem.
Okay. It feels like, or it seems like this is probably one of these smaller scope games, just like the infamous games they made and the Uncharted game that they made.
Right. What was the Uncharted game? I played that. It was
That was the one with the two women.
Lost Treasure or something.
Lost something. They lost something.
It was very good. I played it.
It was in a jungle. Yeah, it was great. You drove the Jeep around, which I'm sure this is going to be great as well. But I just can't. I can't imagine that it's a whole new Spider-Man game.
It's not called Spider-Man 2 for a reason.
Yes.
Right, and it very clearly is the same engine, which of course it is. Like they spent all that time making that engine.
And again, like you said, there's nothing wrong with that. If it's another 25 hours of Spider-Man with a new story and it's just as interesting and engaging, then whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I want more information about what exactly it is.
And it's
I
going to be
believe you
available.
play
Don't you
as,
think it's going to be available on PS4 too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I
Why
don't
would?
know. I don't know. That it could be a PS5 exclusive because that might push sales.
They would need to have that many PS5s available holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to sell 5 million copies of this game, then it's got to come out on the PS4 this year.
Yeah.
If they
I
want to
don't know.
sell,
I could see it
500,000
going. I could see it going anyway. Like, how many copies of this do they need to sell?
as many as they can.
But it just depends on what their
Need is
strategy
sort of a
is.
weird term. They
just
want to
depends on
sell as many as possible.
Yeah, but do they want to help it sell PS5s, or do they just want to sell as many Spider-Man games?
Do you
as they
think
can?
they're going to need help selling PS5?
No, I think they're just going to want to sell as many copies of the game as possible.
Yeah, I think it's backwards. I don't think this game is gonna. I don't think PS5s are a tough sell. Like they're gonna sell out the minute that they're available for pre-order. It's gonna be up and it's gonna be out in about 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So they don't need Spider-Man to sell PS5s. They need PS5s to sell Spider-Man. But if there's not enough PS5s to sell enough Spider-Man, then they need it on the PS4 to sell more Spider-Man.
This is some weird math. I don't know. I don't know about
I
the
think-
Spider
I
math.
think-
Spider math.
I have
Spider-Man.
nothing to back this. I think they could do a tiered launch with it, and launch it first on PS5, and then
And then the
But why not
PS4
just
one?
say like, oh, when you get the PS5 version, you get
that sounds a
what-
little
like
bit
what
Xboxy.
Xbox is-
That
yeah.
sounds a little bit Xboxy there.
might work.
It might work.
All right, so that there was not much to see. So
Puddles look great.
so much better on PS5. Finally, a
that's
console
just,
that
that's
can
just
make
one
puddles.
game of 15. So what's next?
Next was Gran Turismo 7.
That had cars in it.
My notes are all driving games look great now.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. Like, you show that, especially in a 1080p 30 frames per second stream, and it just looks like every car game. Like, it's just whether or not you are into the framing of Gran Turismo or not.
Correct. Their gameplay loop, which I'm not, unless they've changed it, I'm not a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they showed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
I like Ratchet and Clank games.
Yes, it looked
I'd
pretty
like
good.
to play more Ratchet and Clank games.
With
So
a
here's
female.
another
Good
one.
news.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It looked-
The last one they made for the PS4 was great. That's all. Yeah. I finished that.
This one looked really nice too. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of the visual showcases where it truly seemed like that was a PS5 game.
I need to go back and watch like a direct
Until it comes
feed.
out on the PlayStation 4.
No,
I
it
know.
could very well, but it seemed like that one was at least visually, in the amount of stuff that was going on, it seemed like okay, get out next gen.
Yeah, it's I guess the selling point is you're jumping between worlds now, and they say like there's no loading times anymore or something when you going between. I don't know. It could be just like a gimmick. Next, they showed a game called Project Athia. And my notes say dragon and girl jumping.
Is that one of those games? There's a lot of PlayStation games where it's like here's a big world and here's a girl that's doing something in it. A Last of Us game.
Right.
That's all I see. It's like, oh look, these games have done really well. So here's another one.
There's another game called Stray coming out, which is a cat game. Looks like you're a cat in the game. Mm-hmm. Ty was very excited about that.
The cat had a backpack on it?
It looked like something. Death Stranding with a cat.
Okay.
It had something, maybe like some sort of computer interface, perhaps.
Cat standing.
Right. Let's see. That said coming out 2022. Then they showed a video letting us know that it has Blu-ray 4K and showed off the controller and the fact that the controller has a microphone and a speaker now, which is good. Something we've been asking for. Then they showed a game called Returnal, which I wrote Groundhog Day times Mass Effect.
It seems like resetting the day is like a new thing. Becoming a new thing. Yeah.
It's a new genre.
They showed 2 games like that, and there were at least 2 games that came out like that last year.
It's a roguelike.
Yeah, I've had enough of those. I'm done with that subgenre already of day reset.
You haven't even played them.
I know, and I'm done with it. So that shows how interested I am in it.
Right. Okay, then they showed Sackboy's Big Adventure. Sackboy's back.
Yeah, Little Big Planet, but with
they made the game for you this time.
It's everything that I said they should do when they released the first Little Big Planet, and I got yelled at by all of our show listeners why do you want them to make a game where it's just the game? Making the game is the whole point. That's what all people want to do. Like, no one wants to do that.
Right. So
I want to play games that have already been made.
Right. Instead, this is a 4-player platformer.
Yeah. So it doesn't have any of the.
I don't think so.
Stuff? Okay.
Because it's not called Little Big Planet. It's called Sackboy's Big Sack.
Oh, okay. I will be honest. When I saw Sackboy, my eyes kind of glazed over because those games don't appeal to me. They should. But they don't, because I don't like the controls in those games.
Though it has that weird depth control.
It's got that, and everything just has always felt kind of floaty and weird in those games. Not precise.
Because that game was never designed to be played; it was designed to be built.
Okay, well, I'll give this a shot. This is a perfect example of something like I would have loved to have been able to play this game immediately after a press conference.
Right. Maybe like there's a special E3 like press list and they're getting all the stuff like sent to their house. Probably not. All right. What else we got here on this Sony thing? Okay, then they showed Destruction All-Stars, which looks like a competitive team vehicle
hero.
Yeah, hero vehicle game, and you can actually get out of the car and do things too. It looked pretty cool, actually. I got to admit, I was interested in that. Then they showed a game called Kena Bridge of Spirits. I wrote my notes. My notes say Ty likes the small black things.
This is the girl with the little fuzzy tribbles or whatever, right?
Right.
This one looked cool to me. It looked a little cameo-esque.
Okay.
Platformer adventure Zelda type of 3D Zelda type of thing with Pikmin.
Yeah, it looked cute. It looked like did I have a date on that one? No, it looked like they didn't. A lot of these games with all these like press conferences, I'm pay attention more to what they don't say and what they don't show. So, like when the Spider-Man, they don't say exclusively on PS5, and they don't say like an all new, whatever. Mm-hmm. Reading between the lines. Next, they showed a game called Goodbye Volcano High.
That is the one where honestly, like I glanced away and it glanced back and had to make sure the PlayStation logo was still on my stream
That's like an animated thing,
to
right?
confirm that I was still watching the PlayStation
I
press event.
my notes say life is strange with dinosaurs.
Sure.
Is
That was a weird one to have in this press conference.
I don't know. Half these games we're not going to see for another 3 years. Some of them we may never see at all.
this one said 2021. A lot of them had dates on it, but that doesn't really mean much.
That doesn't
Like
mean
that's
anything.
that's a game you're going to show as part of your like big next gen console.
There are
reveal?
people that's what they're looking for.
I
at
know.
games. Just because it doesn't interest you,
But
stop
it doesn't
belittling
show.
people.
It doesn't show anything like, hey, this is the next gen.
No, it doesn't.
Meanwhile, our tip jar is emptied, Wombat. Wombat and my tip jar emptied, and Shipwreck has like 3 coins in his.
Well, what can you do?
I don't know. Tip
Maybe
more.
I lost all my money. It
No, I don't
happens.
think I don't think that happened. I worked so hard on those tip jars.
Somebody forgot that they started the show with GTA 5. How could we forget?
That's right.
Yeah.
I did forget that. 'Cause I was a little late actually. They were
You know, it's funny. Every time I see a clip of the Grand Theft Auto online and they make it look so cool in those trailers, and I say to myself, why aren't I playing this? I want to do a bank heist. And then I think about it for like 5 seconds and I'm like, no.
Why? Why no?
Because it's never going to be as much fun as they show in those trailers where it's all glossy and moving fast
Right.
and everyone's working together. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
It's going to be people cursing you out because you didn't stand in the right spot when you
Yeah,
opened the vault.
and me being called, racial slurs for a race that I'm probably not.
Right.
I'm that was a little bit like, obviously that's a huge game, and it's very popular. Still a weird one to open up your next gen press event with,
Yep.
right? That, hey, yes, we've got Netflix on ours too, is basically what that equates to. You can play Skyrim.
Right. Well, it was free. They had some offer where GTA was free with, I don't know.
Okay,
PS5
I missed that part.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. GTA
I missed the
Online
offer.
is free with PS5 or I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, then they showed. Hold on, we're back to Oddworld Soulstorm, which
That one surprised me.
yeah, it's
'cause-
really dark. Like I guess the game's always had a dark side to it.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
they're
for
all
sure.
dark games.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the game.
Yeah.
But
'cause
what
he's a
surprised me
slave
about
and-
it was that it
kinda
was
dark.
just it was the 2D like old Oddworld style. Like I didn't know that they were going to go back to the original type of game that was.
Yeah, it looked pretty crazy actually. It looked pretty intense. CLC Wolf in the chat said it seemed like Oddworld's Lemmings. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what Oddworld at a smaller scale,
Right.
what Oddworld, the original Oddworld was like.
It's the evolution of Oddworld. Okay, then they showed Ghostwired Tokyo, which is a first-person game, but it's not really a shooter because you're using like powers, I guess. You remember that one? You don't remember that one?
I do remember that one, but Dashel was looking over my shoulder throughout the press conference, so anytime something like that came up, I just listened to it and did not watch it. Look freaky. I saw the school girl without a head.
Yeah,
that one.
it definitely was freaky looking, but I'm interested in that for sure. Then they showed the new Super Brothers game called Jet the Far Shore. I really like the art design on that one. I thought it was one of the best, had the best art design of any of the games that they showed, probably. That was like the minimalist. You have no idea what type of game it is looking at it, but it's minimalist science fiction something. But that got my attention. That's coming out this year. Then they showed Godfall, which was like a third-person action game. Ty said he liked that, but it looked sort of generic a little bit. But Ty was into it. That's the one they played the rock music too.
That one's they've shown before. That one was shown before.
It was? Okay. Then they showed a game called Solar Ash, and my notes say Upside Down 2021. So, do you remember that one?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looked a
know.
little bit. That was the Annapurna game, right?
Could be.
I think that was the one that had a slight Gravity Rush vibe to it.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. Then they showed Hitman 3,
Yes.
looks like more Hitman.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize the last game was Hitman 2. Like,
That's what I was trying to.
what's
I
happening
was.
with these numbers?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out what that was.
Right. My notes
Is
say
the
Hitman
second,
3,
third
what are
Hitman game?
numbers?
Yeah.
January 2021.
Great.
I gotta
So
stop.
this is Hitman 3 number 2 though, right? We've already had a Hitman 3 in the past.
Have we had Hitman 3?
Yes, Hitman 3
Yes.
was an Xbox game.
Yes, this is the second Hitman 3.
Okay.
Because there's been a second Hitman and a second Hitman 2.
I didn't realize we were on Hitman 2 for the second time.
Yeah, Hitman 2 for the second time is excellent. That's the one with the cool beach house level.
Yeah,
at the
I don't
beginning.
think I ever knew that it had a like I
And the
thought that one was
racetrack.
like season 2 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's Hitman 2.
Okay.
Hitman 2 has a second season though. So there is Hitman 2 season 2.
Anyway, let's move on because it's too confusing. I don't know what's happening. Then they showed Astro's Playroom, which looks like a sequel to Astrobot, the VR.
Now
game.
think
that
that's a-
was a VR game though, wasn't it?
It was, but maybe this is not a VR game.
That was what I was wondering. What's
But-
the
I
deal
think I
with
saw
VR?
somewhere that this may be a pack-in game that is meant to highlight the controller, like all
That
the
makes
stuff
a lot
that's
of sense.
going in the controller.
Because without VR, I've played Astrobot. Without VR, it's just like a very simple platformer. The VR is what makes it above and beyond. The whole thing is like you're platforming sort of like over your shoulder and behind you and stuff. So, okay, that's something. Then they showed a game called Little Devil Inside.
Yes.
That game also had, I wrote, amazing art style. That looked really, really good.
That looked that art style, I don't even know how to describe it. It's an art style that you've seen in like animated movies before, but not in games.
Right.
And it had a lot more action going on than what's typical when you see those type of art styles. It didn't just look like your, I don't know, kind of artsy indie game. It actually looked like a third person action game. That was what I was most excited to hear more about, was that game.
Then they showed Island of Bug Snacks. Or is this called Bug Snacks? I don't know. I wrote down Island of Bug Snacks from
Yeah.
Octodad, and that's coming out 2020. That was the game where the characters are eating things, and then they grow, like eat a strawberry, and then their hand turns into a strawberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I'm like, this looks a little. I thought it looked like Viva Pinata at first.
Right. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't say bad. I just said it looked like Viva Pinata.
We need Viva Pinata, please. That looks like a game. Yeah, like kids are gonna love
It
that
does
game.
look like a game. Good
It
work.
does. It looks like a game.
Octodad was great. I finished that, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. Then they showed Demon Soul, which is a remaster. Was that the first Dark Souls?
That's the
Yeah.
first one. That's the
Okay.
Atlas one.
Gotcha. People are very excited about that. Then, not us though. Other people's. Then they showed a game called Deathloop, which is another Groundhog Day type situation. I think this was their tagline: rival assassins hunting in a time loop.
That's from the makers of Dishonored 1 and 2.
Okay, yeah.
That's a
It looked
Bethesda
like
game.
it. It looked like
It's a
it.
Bethesda game.
Arcane.
Yes.
Then they showed Resident Evil 8. Or is it
That
called
game looked-
Village or is it Resident
Village,
Evil 8?
yeah. Resident Evil 8 Village.
Got it. They're very.
And
they're
that
very-
game
I think you
looked-
can make the VIII into the VILL
Oh.
village.
Yeah. I
uh,
like that game. I thought it looked good.
Yep.
I'm sure it's all pre-rendered. Who cares? But it was the only game where people looked next gen. that I think they showed today.
Then they showed a game called Pragmata. And my notes say Astronaut Cat 2022. That's a Capcom one? I think that was Capcom. But that was with, I mean, it looked really cool. When did, yeah, I don't know. Look, you remember that one? Or no, you don't remember that one. You don't.
I
Astronaut
may
Cat?
have missed that
I
one.
might have missed that one.
It's the second cat game, I know, so.
Yeah. Third.
Third, right. What was the other one?
You said another game with a cat.
Stray.
Yeah.
And then,
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Then they busted out the big guns, which was Horizon Forbidden West.
Yes.
The sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Now with underwater.
Now with underwater, which looked really good. I loved Zero Dawn.
You know what people love in games?
Underwater
Swimming levels. Swimming, yeah, underwater levels. That's
Could
what
be
every
good.
game is.
It's always good.
It's always good.
Never.
Can't be bad, is what you're saying?
What I like to do is move about a third of the speed that I normally can in a game and have to worry about if I can breathe.
Yep, and don't forget when you want to go up and then you go down for some reason.
They're not gonna have breathing in there.
No, she had a scuba mask
Yeah,
on. They're gonna do it perfectly fine, but I'm 100% with Wombat. When you see the underwater, there's a part of you that pauses for a second because you're like, I don't know. It looks cool, but nobody's really pulled this off too well in the past. Ever.
Jungle Hunt did a good job. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
then
looked fantastic though. That was the other one along with Ratchet and Clank. Like I didn't see some of the mature ones because, like I said, I was having to switch back and forth.
Right.
But Ratchet and Clank and Horizon, I thought were the two that showed the best next gen on a 1080p 30 frame per second.
You should watch the Resident Evil 8 trailer.
I will. I Resident Evil had it seems like it relies on a lot of the same tricks that Gears of War does, and that everything is really close, and so that's how you get all the detail, which is great.
I was gonna say so.
No, it just isn't my. I haven't liked Resident Evil. I didn't like 4, so that's where I'm coming from.
No,
And I know that's a me
yeah.
problem, but I never liked 4.
That was it. That's what they closed the presentation out. Then they revealed the console after they showed Horizon Forbidden West, and we went, wow. And that was it. Any other thoughts about the presentation?
It was fine. It was the closest thing we're gonna get to E3 this year.
Right.
I'm surprised that Xbox is waiting until what, August to do theirs. Is that the rumor?
What's the rush? Well, usually they
I thought it was July. I thought they had one next month.
Is it July?
Yeah, I think they were taking the month of June off and then going for July. I could be wrong on that, but
I will take your word for it.
All right, let's move on.
sure. I feel like I would have loved to have seen some more features or something with the console.
An interface, perhaps.
Something like, I know that's not like what people want to see, like trailers and gameplay. I can only like, I like to have everything kind of mixed in together. Like I can only watch so many trailers back to back to back.
Like you would like, what if the presentation was literally someone walks onto the screen and they turn on the console and you got to see the console boot up, and then they go into a game from there.
I think that's pretty powerful.
I know, I'm agreeing with you. I'm like, this is how I would do it. I think I agree with you, because you could see someone like turning it on. You could hear that sound, because I'm sure there's going to be a tone, some, boom, and then, screen, you go in, you get to see the layout, you get to see someone pick the game, you get to see the instant load times that they're touting.
Yeah.
There would have been something to that.
I did like that we didn't have to have like 15 minutes devoted to a game of just walking around in an environment while somebody played it.
Not yet.
Oh. But Yeah, I thought it was a good presentation. They were very toned down. This is the most toned down Sony
In what way?
in that maybe this is because I had some of it behind the screen, but they usually just have some torture porn basically going on in the screen.
Right. Yeah, no arms got pulled out of sockets.
With yeah, there was
Nobody was beaten to death with their own body parts.
was there even an embowelment?
No, I don't think so.
This
Very
embowelment?
subdued. There's hardly even video. I didn't even
I
recognize.
would like to
this as
see an
video.
embowelment where someone gets bowels put in.
I wouldn't put it past them on most years. That seems like something that we would have to painstakingly watch.
Right, guys. Disembowelments are so old school.
Like
It's so
that was
tame.
last gen.
Only
Last
with the
gen.
power of the PlayStation 5
Can
can
you
we perform an embowelment.
We put the bowels back in.
Right. Oh boy. Let's move on. So I think we're done with Sony. I mean,
Which one are you going to get? Are you going to get the one with the disc drive or the digital one?
Of course, the disc drive. Why wouldn't you? What are you gonna save like $50 to not have options? Like it seems.
Just checking. I know you buy a lot of digital games, cheapies.
I do, but I want the option to get in on some sales or something.
He's gonna want to be able to watch his 4K Blu-rays.
I have an Xbox thing. I'm sure theirs gonna have it too.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, let's move on to Nintendo. I see somebody's been playing some video games on Nintendo
I have.
systems.
I've been playing. I mentioned last week that I got sent a code for Outer Worlds for Switch.
Mhm.
So I've been playing it now. That's a Fallout game in space, basically.
Yeah. Have you not played that yet?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
have not.
Because I finished that game.
I'm familiar with it, but
yeah.
it is, for better or for worse, more streamlined than Fallout, which
It's
is
a
better
lot
for me.
shorter also.
Which is also I'm happy with that.
I wasn't a complaint.
The Switch version of it obviously does not look as high res as the other versions that I've seen. The people's faces in general, like it looks fine. It's not going to blow you away, but the performance on it seems pretty good. I'm not having performance issues, so they did a pretty good job porting it, and now I can play it in bed at night. So I'm enjoying that. And then the other thing I've been playing with the kids is a game called Fishing Star World Tour. This is a game that came out last fall. But I can show it. It's here. So for the audience that's watching.
Oh my goodness!
Video,
What the?
So
What?
it is a fishing rod controller
Oh,
that you just stick the two Joy-Cons in, and then you can reel in your fish
Oh my
and do all the
goodness.
motion control and everything.
How much did that cost?
This was $20. The attachment, and then the game. I think the game was like $30 or something like that. Stupid fun. I enjoy that. It makes you sweat because it takes a little while to get these
What?
fish in.
You got to get out more, Ship. You're sitting on your ass too much.
No, if you sit there and you're like for like 5 minutes, if you have like a big fish on there.
Wait, show us. Let me see. Do it a little bit.
All right.
Let's see.
So if you're doing
Okay,
this,
now hold on. Now lower it a little bit. Lower it below the
Yeah.
camera so we can't see. Now do it.
Okay,
now
now
really
do it.
crank it.
Yeah, there we go. Is that good?
Harder.
Oh,
harder,
yeah,
Harder.
that's
Harder.
it.
Harder.
Harder. Got it. All right, big yank at the end. But yeah, so it's fun. It's a fun. It's a cartoony style Japanese fishing game.
That's cool.
We enjoy playing it for $50 or so, like to get that little stupid controller and the game. It works well. It's
Seems
a dumb
fun.
thing to have.
Seems delightful.
My daughter caught every fish in Animal Crossing.
Nice.
Speaking of needing to get out more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why she's going to tennis, whether everyone's sick or not.
She's got tennis
Yeah.
lessons or something?
I said that at the top of the show.
Tennis? Oh, well.
We had a whole conversation about it about an hour ago.
I was probably breaking something.
It's okay.
All right, let's. Where are we here? I think we're at the CAG bag. There's only 2 questions in the CAG bag, unless people have some stuff in the chat they can throw out now. But I'll do these first. At the GFB wants to know, where does Wombat find the time to watch so much TV and play games while juggling a job and family?
Well, here's the thing. Now I work from home all the time, and I work from home now permanently. That's a permanent thing, COVID or not. So my day went from waking up at 5:30 in the morning and coming home at 8 o'clock at night to, I get to sleep a little bit later. I can stay up a whole lot later.
Yep.
My kids are not infants. My children are 9 and 12.
They're grown and raised, basically. Wombat just can ignore them and watch 4-hour documentaries on the Laurel Canyon.
Or I could watch documentaries about Laurel Canyon and someone will watch it with me. I could watch City Slickers with my children. I can, they could be in the room. Elliot was playing Five Nights at Freddy's because he thinks that's the greatest game ever, and I think it's garbage. But if he wants to sit on the couch and play Five Nights at Freddy's while I'm playing Darksiders Genesis, it's not like, that's something we do together.
So you make it a family affair, is what you're saying.
Kinda. And
sometimes.
they also go to bed at like 9:30. And I now can stay up till midnight without being exhausted.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. DC16 writes in and asks, it's been almost 3 months since lockdown. How have your cooking habits changed now that you are mostly stuck at home all day? Wombat.
I make better lunches. That's the real change. Like, we always cooked dinner. If you go to the Cook This Bitches section of the CAG Discord channel, I post all my meals there.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. So you can see a lot of the dinners that we make there. I made some really nice steaks last week. But lunches is where it's changed, because we eat lunch at home and we make lunches. We make big salads have become a thing with, big salads for 2 or 3 with, cutting up the carrots and the celery and, making some dressings. So that's sort of like, I think, where it's changed. And as Mookie Juki in the chat points out, the occasional Dagwood sandwich. Although we tend to have more tortillas than bread. So maybe more like a Dagwood quesadilla, if that's a thing.
Word. We Mrs. Cheapy cooks me lunch now. That's the big difference around here.
Wait, she's the one working.
She takes it. Well, when she has the chance, she can make it real fast. She does it because she wants to do it. She's usually we'll take some stuff in sometimes for lunch, but she prefers to make something like Japanese. So that's been an upgrade for me. Can't complain. And we do a lot more. I've doubled up on my HelloFresh orders now. We got 5, not quite double, but we got 5 meals incoming now.
That's a lot.
Too.
You really? I still do the 3, and then we cook, the other days.
They stopped for a while. You couldn't order more than 3. And then, so we did Green Chef, which is their sister site. So I got 2 of those coming now. But now you can actually order more than 3 on HelloFresh, I believe.
Okay.
As of last week or this week.
Mine just makes, instead of going to get lunch every day, I am either ordering in lunch or making my kids lunch. So that's the only difference between my
DoorDash. Not more DoorDash happening?
DoorDash happens maybe for lunch. It maybe happens like 2 days out of the week.
Gotcha. All right.
It just depends on what time I'm in meetings or not. Like if I'm in meetings before and after, like if I'm in a meeting that ends at noon and I have one at 1, that's a DoorDash day there.
Right. By the way, you should try not to use those services and order direct from the restaurants' websites if you can, because they got to pay big commissions. In case you didn't know that. Did you know that?
I did know that. I'm not gonna lie. The convenience of DoorDash is why I use DoorDash.
I know. But sometimes these restaurants have another website where you can order from, like their own internal one. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Anyway, all right, I think we've reached the end of the show. I'm happy to say that. I'll remind everybody to follow us on Twitter @GPD @New Wombat. You can just see it right on the screen there, Wombat. You're really promoting yourself. Good for you. and at Shipwreck. And follow us on, of course, at Video Game Deals to get all the hot deals. And that's it. We'll see you next week.
Bread's done.